Welcome back to Celebrity Radio. It's Alex Belfield here, back at the Paris, Las Vegas, which is home to one of my favourite shows ever. I feature it every year. I feature it on Broadway and in the West End. It's brilliant. It's called Jersey Boys, and the two stars are here today. Travis Cloer, nice to see you again.
Good to see you.
How you doing?
I'm doing good. It's been a while, huh?
You're still here. Can't you find a proper job, really? I mean...
Well, I figured I'll stay here till they kick me out, so...
Really nice to see you again. Of course, Frankie Valli in this wonderful musical. And, of course, Jason Kappus. How are you?
I am well, thank you.
And you're the Bob Gaudio, you're the Frankie Valli, you're the stars of the show. It must be great to be you.
It's not bad, actually. No, we get to tell this great story and sing this amazing music, and we get to do it all sitting down in one place. We're not on the road or traveling to different spots. So, yeah, it's not bad.
I was saying earlier, and I've written in this article, musicals don't work in Las Vegas. It's official. I mean, the producers closed, The Lion King closed, Mamma Mia closed the first time around. Musicals don't work other than Jersey Boys, it seems.
Well, yeah, and you look around too. You got Rock of Ages going now. I think if you find the right kind of thing where people can come in and feel like it's a little bit of a party, and the concert, this is the kind of show that people are going to have a good time at in Vegas.
I love the concept of this show, which is basically a friend, a bond, writing great music, performing great music, and then making hits that then become a musical, that then become a movie. The story just continues, doesn't it? In a way, you need a sort of third section to this musical, which is about to happen.
Yeah, it sure is. The film comes out this summer in June, and it's going to take the world by storm and hopefully get everybody even more excited about this great show.
The music in it is anthemic, it's brilliant, and I think one of the reasons for its success is two things. One, the humour in it is brilliant. It's not Disney, it's not cute. It's a real story of real guys from New Jersey. And of course, then there's the hits. And one goes, oh, I know that, and then the next one comes and you go, really, they did that? And then before you know it, 15 songs later, you come to the end of the show. It's a strong book, isn't it?
A strong book, indeed. I think I've always thought with this show that you could actually take the music out and you just have a good play, and that's really what keeps people coming back. I think a lot of people come for the music and stay for the story. It's really incredible what these guys went through.
And again, it's a story that isn't particularly nice. Some people end up dead, some people end up in prison, some people end up millionaires. It's a great story, and that's why they turn it into a movie. It's going to be brilliant.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's... like Jason was saying, our director always tells us this isn't really a musical, it's a play with music in it. And it tells this great story with some of the best rock music ever written.
I marvel at your ability to do this show. I've seen you in it probably, 2 or 3 or 4 times probably now. You have such talent because this asks many things of you. The staging of it, you need certain moves to bring the Frankie to life, but you need a voice that's like no other. I don't want to be too sycophantic, but I mean, it's such a toil, this show, because it's very, very high, above any other show in the world, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I get done with the show sometimes, and I'm done for a couple days. It really does use, every millimeter of your voice from the bottoms all the way up to the tippy tops, and you just really, really got to keep in shape. It's like being an athlete. You have to really take care of your body and take care of your voice and study and train and work at it.
I've only been here a few days and my voice is already shot. I don't know what it is, the air or whatever. It's incredible. I only just crossed the street and I'm sweating. I mean, this is a difficult town to be in. How do you get through all these shows a week?
It is a challenge, and I actually just started in this company about 2.5 months ago, and the heat and the dryness is really something that you have to be aware of and counter, and it's mostly getting enough rest and getting just insane amounts of water inside you.
I was lucky enough a few years ago to interview Bob and Frankie here in Las Vegas when it was at the Venetian, and meeting those guys was so fascinating because what they've got is the ultimate chemistry. They've got a guy who can perform, which is brilliant, and then they've got a guy who's a genius. You play the genius, you play the voice. Those two coming together was just such synergy. I don't think it's ever happened since, really, has it?
It's pretty much they're like two personalities of the same person. Their chemistry is that great together. They just work so well, and it doesn't happen but once in a lifetime.
And also what I love at the end of this, you come away with a sense of honor and integrity. The moral to the story is everything's done on a handshake. The show's done on a handshake. The musical, the music, everything's done on trust. That's non-existent in show business now, is it?
Well, actually, none of us have contracts. We just shook hands with the producers, so it's a little scary sometimes.
Yeah. By the way, you're not in the show tonight. I don't know whether you found out.
Yeah, who knows? It's day to day.
I don't think this is a town where you don't need a contract. I think a few scribbles here and there would help in Las Vegas, wouldn't it?
Just a couple, yes. Yeah.
What's it like doing it here? I mean, you've come from Venetian, where it was a big hit, and you've moved here to Paris. Has it made a difference, or is the show, whether it plays on Broadway in Las Vegas, the West End? How does it change?
I was over at the Palazzo when we were there, and I've been here ever since. And I found that it is one of those shows that can just translate wherever it is, and it just has that universal theme to it. You know, you got the little guys trying to succeed, and this great music just ties it all together. So it has been great here, just as it was there.
They certainly ask a lot of you in this show. I mean, you've got to dance, you've got to sing, you've also got to be funny, and you get the zingers in the show. You're pretty dry as a character, but you put him in his place beautifully. Where does the comedy come into what you do? Is that just all in the script, or are you a funny guy?
Well, it depends on who you ask. Don't ask my wife. But no, it really is a privilege to get to do this play, as we call it, because it isn't hard to be funny, because it's written so well that you know it's easy for us. But you know, that being said, I'm hilarious.
I've found that since I've been here, and we should say we're here in a cafe doing this today. I am slightly distracted by the candles and the lovely lady things over there. What are they, to stop drips when you're cooking, is it? How peculiar. Being here in Vegas is interesting. I mean, you're surrounded by all these cafes and restaurants and buffets just across the street there. You can't be clinically obese in this role. That wouldn't work, because Bob isn't. And you have to be delicious. Of course, we all know the ladies fall in love with you. How do you keep fit in this town?
It's a challenge. You know, there's a lot of distractions, and you just have to keep your head on straight and your eye on the prize. And for me, that's being able to sing this show as many times a week as I have to. And if that means not going to a place where I have to talk too loudly, then I go home. I like being at home. I'm a homebody. I've got my wife and my kids and my dogs, and I like being at home. But like I said before, you just really have to take care of yourself and be an athlete with it.
What happens on those mornings you wake up and cough and something's not quite right, but you've still got to do the show? I mean, seriously, how do you psychologically cope with that? It's got to be tough.
It's funny because and I'm sure Jess feels the same way, we're so in tune with our bodies and our voices that I can literally wake up, and before I even say a word, I know how I'm going to be singing that night. And there are times when you wake up and you're like, there's no way. There's absolutely no way I'm going to be able to do this. Luckily, we have a lot of very talented guys that can cover the role if for some reason we have to call out. But, you know, there are times where you do have to go on when you know that you normally couldn't. And you just have to suck it up and rely on your training and to get you through it and just to stay strong.
What about trying the Britney Spears approach, Jason? I mean, could we take this and do it that way?
Some people think we do. There have been people who come see the show, and I guess it's so good that it's hard to believe that it's live. But you know, it is always a pleasure to you know, when we get to chat with those people, to let them know that everything is produced right there on the spot, and it's a lot of work. We have a world-class band, you know, backstage and on stage half the time, that it's a privilege to sing with, and it's great to make this music every night fresh.
And I know they also give you a great PA system in this show where you're able to shine. The harmonies, though, between the four of you is fascinating. It's almost barbershop in places, isn't it? The way that your voices have to come together.
Yeah, I think that was the roots of them. You know, they started out on the streets singing doo-wop together. And when they weren't singing it together, they were certainly singing it otherwise. But when they finally, four of them clicked and they found that sound, it just, magic happened.
Very finally, before we go, that scene where we're watching you in the theatre in reverse, and you've got the lights on you and the pin focus, and it's all happening, and the band are rocking behind you. Is there any better feeling? I mean, is this it in what you do in musical theatre, to have all of that around you to make you look even better than you are? Is that the dream?
That really has been a highlight for me, and one of the benefits of being in a long-running show like this, coming into a hit, is that, you know, we all got to see the show before we were ever in it. So I remember being in the audience and seeing that moment and just being blown away at the spectacle, but also the brilliance of it. You know, how smart of an idea that was to just turn the whole audience around. And so every night when we're up there, I have that memory of being in the audience, and that really just helps inform the whole moment for me, and it's very fulfilling.
This show doesn't just happen, they are involved. That's important, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. They're in the room when you audition, and they come in quite frequently, and they watch the show. You know, especially Bob. Bob has a huge part in making sure that things stay shipshape, because we're telling their story. It's their life that we're portraying. I do the same thing.
Congratulations on this show. I can't say enough good things about it. I've said finally 4 times. I do this every time when I talk about this show. This year it's got to be bigger than ever. With the movie coming out, it's going to give you a boost, isn't it? It's got to be a good thing.
Oh, I hope so. And I'm just as excited to see the movie as I think anybody else is. So we'll be there day one, I'm sure.
It's interesting in the movie. There's not only John Lloyd Young, who did the role on Broadway, but there's 1 million people in the film that have played various roles in various Jersey Boys companies worldwide. So it's going to be great to see all of our friends up there making things happen on the big screen.
And what a fabulous year for you to be headlining in this show. It's on here at Paris in Las Vegas. You can't go wrong with Jersey Boys. It is a great night out. It's a party, and for all ages as well. The kids love it just as much as the grown-ups, and it leaves you with a sense of fulfillment. That's what's great. It's got a purpose, this show.
Oh, it absolutely does. It's it talks about family. You know, that's the big through line. Family is everything, and that's what keep Bob and Frankie going together today, is that handshake.
Guys, thank you for talking to me. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Alex.